Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway once again. We're halfway through Indy 250 week, or Indy 250 2 weeks if you want to call it. 13 straight days of events, and a week ago we had the first practice session for the Indy 250. We have already set the field for the Indianapolis 250, and now the Wawa Cup Series comes here for their pseudo all-star race, the Wawa Winners Showdown, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But tonight, we set the field. Single car qualifying here for the Wawa Winners Showdown. Of course, no qualifying done in any of the points-paying races of the Wawa Cup Series due to the fact that the qualifying rating isn't playing. But this is a non-points event. Where the winner receives $25, which will be paid either by PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, however we want to work that out. But we got to see who wins it first. We'll find that out tomorrow. We got to set the starting lineup first, and we'll find that out today. 12 drivers who qualified for this year's Wawa Winners Showdown, and all 12 of them have won races in the Wawa Cup Series so far this season. The 12 winners so far after the first half of the season in the Wawa Cup Series. They include Samet Ozkan, who will be going out first, winner at Dover. Travis Crampton in the 98 will be going out second here today. Blaine Keyes, who won at Texas. Of course, Travis Crampton won in Las Vegas earlier this season. Bradyn Perez, who won at Phoenix. Echo Evans-Ross, who won at Circuit of the Americas. Rogal Dorn, who won at Talladega. Matt Tuck, who won at the Auto Club Speedway. The Daytona 500 winner of Lliara. She also won the opening race at Homestead. Going to be going out 7th here tonight. Seth Cole, who won at Darlington 2 weeks ago, or actually a week and a half ago, I should say, in the 82. Chase Buck, our last race winner, won at Bristol and North Wilkesboro last week. Drew Webb, the winner at Kansas, and then Thomas Troxell, two-time winner this season at Rockingham and Martinsville. Of course, the winners will go out in terms of the order they are in Wawa Cup Series points, and we'll start with the Wawa Sprint Series driver who went to victory lane at Dover, Samet Ozkan. The one thing you're going to notice, and of course you could probably figure it out, the speeds are going to be much slower than what we saw over the weekend from the IndyCar Series, so we're going to see how these times end up comparing to one another, but the good thing is all 12 drivers will in fact qualify for the race, and then they'll go out on the racetrack tomorrow for 20 laps, and no pit stops involved. And it's all for $25, and the owner will get $10 as well, so having a little fun with that. Let's go ahead and get it started here for the qualifying session in the Wawa Winners Showdown. Samet Ozkan, our first driver, out onto the racetrack. Let's see what he can do here in qualifying from Indianapolis. And here we go to begin qualifying for the Wawa Winners Showdown. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to play out, because unlike in the IndyCar Series, the ratings are in play for these guys, and there will be a difference in how well these cars run. Of course, all of these drivers have won races so far this season in the Wawa Cup Series, so they're all some of the best drivers and teams. But there's going to still be a bit of a differential between all these drivers. The ratings that came into play for North Wilkesboro are the same ratings that are coming into play for this race. So the ratings that you did for the Coke 600 last weekend do not come into effect for this race, because I'm recording this before those ratings went up. Samet Ozkan in the 75. What a surprise this was in the Mr. Goodbar 400 at Dover 3 weeks ago. Went to victory lane as a Sprint Series driver for Appalachian Motorsports. This is the only driver that Caleb Rose has in this race. He is 188 across the line, and you can just tell how much slower these guys are, and they have to slow it down into the corners as well. Minimum of 170 off the exit of turn number 1. About 40 miles per hour slower at the slowest points here for these drivers. But getting back into the gas there, Samet Ozkan, we'll see what he maxes out at down the backstretch. We'll have to see how these times end up comparing to one another. 192 for Samet Ozkan, and slowing it all the way down to 172. A big difference in speed there through the corners. And then getting the speed right here, going to minimize at 171 there through turn number 4. And coming across the line to complete his lap here in Wawa Winners Showdown qualifying. Samet Ozkan in the 75 goes 49.804. About 10 seconds slower, almost 10 seconds slower than some of our fastest times for the IndyCar Series. So, very interesting to notice the difference there. But Ozkan's on the board. Let's see how that compares to our next driver in Travis Crampton. Next driver out in line, Travis Crampton in the number 98 machine. And Crampton got the win in Las Vegas early on in the year, but kind of struggled since then. However, the last couple of races for Crampton have actually worked out fairly well. Had a solid run, almost won at Darlington. And was able to back up a pretty solid run at North Wilkesboro a couple nights ago. Driving for NS Racing, I know this team would absolutely love to win this race, especially considering that their Indy 250 only driver of Bruno Giacomo failed to qualify yesterday in the Indianapolis 250. And we'll get to another driver who's going to be in this race who had to deal with that yesterday. Travis Crampton here looking to start his fast lap. It's so much different in the stock car compared to the Indy car. They max out at 190 around this place. 192, won't barely hit 193 there into the corner, but so much slower through the corner for these guys. Minimizes at 171 there through turn number 1. But goes all the way down to 166 there in turn number 2. That was much slower than what Ozkan did through that corner. Ozkan capped out about a 192, I think. Crampton's going to hit 193 in the turn number 3. 174 there is a minimum for Crampton, and then right here, you want to get the speed coming to the line. Going to minimize at 173, going to hold it for quite a while through that corner. And here we go for Travis Crampton. I have to see what this time is in comparison to Samet Ozkan across the line. It is 49.591, significantly faster than Samet Ozkan right there. And I think that speed that he hit down the backstretch and through turns 3 and 4 really helped him out. So Crampton at the top of the board in the 98, looking to win this pole for the Wawa Winners Showdown. Here we go for Blaine Keyes in the 55. Roger Cohen Racing Enterprises won the Mellow Yellow Smooth Fast at the beginning of the season. Of course, that race win would not have qualified him for this race, but did in fact get a race victory at the Texas Motor Speedway in the Interstate Batteries 500. A great run for him in that one. But other than that, it's been a very tough season for Blaine Keyes. In the middle of the wild card race right now. Only 5 races remaining until that cutoff, and I know Blaine Keyes would absolutely love to get another race victory, maybe on Friday night in the Coke 600 at Charlotte. But nonetheless, Blaine Keyes also has strung together a couple of solid runs the past couple of races and finds himself 19th in the points standings coming into 5 races left in the regular season. We'll see what he can do here in the Wawa Winners Showdown. And the thing is, for these 12 drivers, they're going to get a bit of experience on this racetrack before we head to this racetrack for the points-paying race in August, the JBL Brickyard 400. That'll be right in the middle of the chase, and for a lot of these guys will be in the chase. Not all of them, but a lot of them will be going for that championship, and we'll be in the midst of a championship battle once we get to that point. So, definitely know that Blaine Keyes hopes to be part of that one once we get to it at the end of June. We'll see what he can do here in qualifying, though, for the Wawa Winners Showdown. Maximizes at 193, but he didn't hold it quite as long as Crampton did. We'll have to see what the exit of turn number 4 is for Blaine Keyes right here. He's going to hold 174. Good speed there through turn number 4, and he's going to carry a lot of it here down the front stretch. We'll have to see if this compares to Crampton's time across the line for Blaine Keyes. 49.506. Blaine Keyes going to go to the top of the board with that lap right there for Cohen Racing Enterprises. Bradyn Perez, the next driver in line here in the Wawa Winners Showdown qualifying session. Won at Phoenix earlier this year for Team Williams, but since that win, kind of like with Blaine Keyes and Travis Crampton, all got wins in the West Coast swing, or, well, Blaine Keyes got a little bit later, but still, a lot of these guys who are going out first deeper in the points got wins earlier in the season have kind of fallen off as of late, and that is definitely the case for Bradyn Perez. But, hey, a win in this non-points event would absolutely turn Bradyn Perez's season around. We'll have to see what he can do, but I definitely think a bit of an underdog for this one. Haven't seen much of Perez up front since that Phoenix win, but, hey, only 12 drivers on the racetrack for this race. it realistically can go to anybody. Here we go for Perez to start his flying lap here. 188 across the line. Gonna max out here. Gonna hit 192 there for a little bit. 172 as a minimum through turn number 1. And this is the slowest corner right here. 166, and he's way up the racetrack. That's not what you want right there. However, he might be trying to utilize that outside lane. I think Crampton did that a little bit. Trying to get a run down that backstretch, get that banking to help out just a little bit, but he barely even hit 192 there in the turn number 3, so looks like Bradyn Perez may be a bit slower here than Blaine Keyes and Travis Crampton. Gonna minimize his hover around that 174 mark. And here we go, coming across the line, the number 23 of Bradyn Perez. Going to go to a 49.722. That is third, quickest just above Samet Ozkan. Next driver in line, winner from Coda, Echo Evans Ross in the number 39 machine. Fifth driver here in qualifying, Echo Evans Ross in the 39, and another driver who has really fallen off as of late. She was at one point, I do believe, the points leader here in the Wawa Cup Series after that Coda race, and since then, it's not been good. And kind of like with Matt Tuck, who is going to be going out here in a couple of turns, it's a lot of mechanical issues and a lot of things that really have not been her fault. And same thing happened at, was it Darlington 2 weeks ago? Had a semi-decent run in North Wilkesboro, but still just all over the place in terms of the finishing results for this team. But the only car for Hamilton Racing Enterprises in this race. So we'll have to see how well Echo can do. She's qualified very well this season. I believe top 10 in terms of the average qualifying position. But this is a little bit different because the qualifying rating really doesn't come into effect. But 193 there going into turn 1. Going to minimize at 172 there through turn number 1. And we'll have to see what she can do here through this corner. Trying to keep the speed minimum of 170 and kind of running an outside lane as well. Trying to get something down this backstretch. We'll see what she maximizes out here. We're looking pretty good right here. 193, 194. Looking pretty quick right there in the turn number 3. Of course, these Hamilton Racing Enterprises cars are always really good. And the fact that these guys have to slow down, though, a little bit more really creates a very interesting dynamic with how these guys get around this racetrack, because a lot more of an opportunity to make a mistake because they have to slow down a lot more. Great turn forward. That's going to be the fastest lap, 49.144. That may be the pole lap. We're just going to have to see. I don't think the qualifying rating has much to do with this, because these guys don't actually know the game itself, I should say, doesn't know it's qualifying, but hey, we're still figuring all this rating stuff out. Like I said, it's still a bit of an experiment. Echo Evans Ross is the top of the board in the 39. Next in line, Full Frontal Motorsports, Rogal Dorn in the number 1. Got the win at Talladega. But even though he got the win at Talladega, still really solid, I think, throughout the season. Had a great run right after that at Dover. Actually led a decent amount of laps in that race. And Rogal comes into this race 13th in the points standings and in the second wild card position as of right now. So definitely a great season for Rogal Dorn, especially considering that his teammate Daniel Paulus Jr. is last in the championship standings right now. It's been a very interesting season for Full Frontal Motorsports. I feel like Rogal Dorn has outperformed this car quite a bit. We'll have to see what he can do with it here in qualifying and then in the race. Of course, Echo Evans Ross, posting a very fast time, 49.144. That could win the pole here for the Winners Showdown. Let's see how fast Rogal is into the corner. 192 there for just a split second. Pretty solid time there. Oh, but he's going to really wash it up the racetrack there. It was 168 off the exit there, and he's going to be kind of slow there, but a bit of a lower line. One thing I'm noticing here, these guys are going all over the racetrack, especially in turns 1 and 2 in these machines. We didn't quite have that with the Indy cars over the weekend. Those guys have so much more grip. 193 there for Rogal Dorn. This isn't going to be close to Echo Evans Ross's time, but I feel like that turn 1's going to really slow down the 1 here and probably be, I don't know, it's a lot harder to judge here because there's just so much more things that can happen with these guys. 173 is a minimum of 4. And coming across the line, I think it's going to be slower here. 1:49.683, which is just above Bradyn Perez there for 4th quickest. So not too bad, especially considering he washed it up the racetrack in turn 1. If he didn't do that, he may have gotten the 2nd there. But regardless of the fact, good time there. He'll be in the 4th position currently there in the number 1. Matt Tuck, number 54. Obviously in need of a good run. The past 4 races have been abysmal for this team. 3 mechanical issues in a row and then getting caught up in a wreck on Friday at North Wilkesboro has sent Matt Tuck below the cutoff line. He's in the 1st wildcard position currently. A good run at Charlotte will put him back in the top 10, so it's far from over, but I'm sure they're hoping that all their bad luck is done over there at Groton Autosport and this team. I have a good feeling for Matt Tuck, though, here in qualifying at least. Only 1 lap. What can go wrong in 1 lap? Hey, just ask Thomas Troxell on Saturday. Oh, boy. And because of that, Troxell failed to qualify. And, speaking of Indy 250 qualifications, Matt Tuck barely made it in. 33rd starting position on Saturday for the Indy 250 for this guy, and let me tell you, if Bruno Giacomo found any more speed, he would have absolutely been knocking that 51 for Groton Autosport out of the race. But not the case for Matt Tuck. Matt Tuck will be in the race. Bit slow here, though, on this lap. Definitely a slow entry in the turn 1, at least. Didn't wash it up like Rogal Dorn did, but ain't going to be comparable to Echo Evans-Ross. I feel like she might win the pole with that lap. That was an incredibly fast lap there, especially compared to what we've seen. This one definitely on the slower end. Of course, where you start doesn't matter too much, as long as you got a fast race car for the race. Going to be a 20-lap race tomorrow night. But definitely not as good of a lap as Matt Tuck would have hoped for, no doubt about it. Coming across the line right here, going to be a bit of a slower time, I feel like. Going to be a 49.808. That is the slowest time we have had so far here in Wawa Winners Showdown qualifying. Here we go for our Daytona 500 champion of Lliara in the number 5. Been a pretty solid season for her, even though she really hasn't been up front that much since that Daytona 500 win. She does find herself 8th in the point standings and has yet to go below 10th in points all season. Of course, won the opening event of the season at Homestead, but as the season has moved on and some of the other teams and drivers have caught up with their ratings, Lliara's kind of been a little bit further behind than some of these other guys, but still very much in contention for this championship, and very much in contention, I feel like, for this race win. We'll have to see what she can, in fact, pull off. Trying to get a good run here at Indianapolis in the number 5. Going to be a 49.144 set by Echo Evans-Ross, which is still by far the fastest lap we've seen so far in the session. But, of course, as we move on throughout the session here, I think these cars get faster and faster, generally speaking. Good lap here. 192 for a split second there in the turn 1. And pretty solid there through turn number 1, keeping the speed off the exit. We'll see what she can do here through turn number 2. Pretty decent there, trying to get that outside lane to work. It was similar to Crampton and what he did there. Crampton still sits in the 3rd position in terms of speed. And Lliara's teammate Blaine Keyes, 2nd on the leaderboard right now. 192 there for Lliara in the turn number 3. Of course, Echo Evans-Ross hit 194 going into that corner. And we'll have to see what Lliara can do here. Ooh. Hit 170 there. Going to be a bit of a slower time right here. Of course, as always, the weather conditions identical for each of these 12 drivers. 83 degrees here with 9-mile-per-hour western winds. 49.830. That is the slowest time we have seen so far once again. And Lliara at the back of the field here in qualifying for the Wawa Winners Showdown. Only 4 drivers left in this session. Seth Cole in the 82. Last driver to get into this Wawa Winners Showdown after winning at Darlington less than 2 weeks ago. Almost just a week ago, basically. And a solid year for Seth Cole. Started off really strong, kind of fell back, and then got that win at Darlington, and then backed it up fairly well at North Wilkesboro last week, or a couple days ago, I should say. And now here he sits, looking to qualify here for the Wawa Winners Showdown. Going to be a great opportunity for him in Trinity River Racing. Josh Williamson, the owner of this team, and was very happy when he was in the booth with us for the Darlington race and saw his driver go to victory lane there at Darlington. Seth Cole sits 7th in the point standings. And only 3 drivers left after Seth Cole who have won races this season, so we'll have to see how those drivers fare. We still got the Pacific Racing drivers to come out here, but Seth Cole in the 82. Going to maximize there, 192, just a little bit right there. Kind of sliding up just a little bit there off the exit of turn number 1. Try to keep as much speed as you can through these corners. Oh, that was good. That was really good there through turn number 2. We've seen so many drivers go below 170 in turn number 2. Not the case for Seth Cole, keeping that speed, and he may be able to carry it down the backstretch here. 191, 192. He's going to hit 193. He held it for quite a while. I think this is going to be good enough for second quickest. I don't think it's going to be quite as fast as Echo's time. We'll just have to see what Seth Cole can do here through turn number 4. That was very quick there through turn 4. We'll have to see. This 82 looking really quick here for Trinity River Racing. Seth Cole across the line goes 49.397. In fact, good enough for second quickest. 3 drivers left. Chase Buck, our last winner, next in line in the 32. And here comes our last race winner here in the Wawa Cup Series. Got that win in dominating fashion in North Wilkesboro. Did the same thing at Bristol. Both of Chase Buck's wins coming where he led 99% of the laps. I think he led 98% of the laps on Friday, though. I think he led 98 laps in the Southern States 400. But regardless of the fact, 2 wins. And Chase Buck had actually fallen all the way back to 10th in the points, and then had a solid run at Darlington and won North Wilkesboro, now back up to 4th in the standings. Been a great season for Pacific Racing as a whole. 4 wins on the year, 2 with Chase Buck and then 2 with Troxell, but all of their wins have come on tracks 1.017 miles or shorter, so not as much success on the speedways, which make them a majority of the season. Only 1, well, technically 2 short tracks, only 1 true short track in the chase, that being Richmond. We'll have to see how that race ends up going for him. Been a very interesting season for these guys. Chase Buck looking pretty quick there, 192 in the turn number 1. You may actually not want to go too fast in the turn 1, because right there, Buck really had to step out of the gas, and that's going to hurt his lap. Been very fascinating what these guys have been doing, and Buck way up there. Something we do not see in IndyCar qualifying that we get to see here with these stock cars that makes it so much more fascinating in a way. Of course, IndyCar qualifying is very fascinating, but this is pretty good stuff here. 193, though, in the turn number 3 for Chase Buck, but a terrible first half on the course, and I think that's going to slow him down a bit. He might be able to beat Blaine Keyes here, but I think it might be in between Seth Cole and Blaine Keyes. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what this 32 can do. He had some good speed there. I don't know. I'm thinking it might be around Rogal Dorn's time. We'll have to see. 49.682. Wow. I was right. Just a notch ahead of Rogal Dorn there. Good enough for 5th at the time. He will start no farther back than 7th in tomorrow's race. 2 more drivers left. Next driver in line, our Kansas winner of Drew Webb. And how about the hottest driver in the Wawa Cup Series as of late, Drew Webb in the 99. Has thrown together a lot of very great finishes here for Tiny Fury Racing. Got the win at Kansas. And almost won Darlington, too. Led the most laps the next week after that. Solid run in North Wilkesboro, and now sits 10 points behind our points leader of Thomas Troxell. And Drew Webb definitely on the upswing here in the Wawa Cup Series. And with only 5 races left to go, looking pretty good for Drew to possibly make it into this chase. Especially considering not too long ago, he was outside the top 10 in points. And he's getting good at the right part of the season. We'll have to see what he can do here. Have an opportunity, maybe, at getting this race victory in the Wawa Winners Showdown, especially if he can qualify well. Versus Echo Evans-Ross, still holding that fastest time at a 49.144. Here we go for the 99 of Drew Webb. Looking to get this job done here at Indianapolis. 192 for just a split second, but doesn't want to lose it there through the corner. A little bit slower there. Had to check out of it just a bit. Let's see what he can do here. Ooh, 168 is the minimum there for Drew Webb. It's probably not going to be good enough for Echo's time right there. Only going to be 1 driver left after Drew Webb, and let me tell you, single car qualifying here has not gone well for him, so it's looking pretty good for Echo Evans-Ross right now. Drew Webb going to hit 193 there for a split second. still a solid time here at Drew Webb. I think it's going to be a bit faster than Chase Buck, probably in between Blaine Keyes and Travis Crampton the way it's looking right now. So we'll see if I'm right about that. Coming across the line for the number 99 of Drew Webb, he's going to clock in at a 49.618, just below Travis Crampton. Good enough for 5th right there on the qualifying board. One driver left. That's our points leader, Thomas Troxell, in the number 62. Well, Thomas Troxell waiting to come out for his lap. And there he goes. It has not been a good weekend for Thomas Troxell by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously had his issue in qualifying for the Indy 250 on Saturday. Did not even get a time in. And then yesterday in the last 9 shootout was too slow to make it on. 35th overall there for Thomas Troxell. And, yeah, I know he wants to forget about all of that. He's going to be in the Freedom 50 this year. He'll get this time in at least, and the good thing for Troxell, he doesn't have to worry about failing to qualify for this race because there are no D&Qs, but we'll have to see how well he does here. Will he get to echo Evans Ross? That 39 put down a blisteringly fast pace right there. We'll have to see if she can, in fact, hold on to it. You know, one thing I did think about, too, I'm wondering if the qualifying ratings actually do come into effect since this is practice before qualifying. Might be something there. I don't know. Like I said, we're all still figuring it out. Thomas Troxell 191 there, but pretty quick there through turn number 1. If he can keep it there through turn number 2, which he will not, way up the racetrack and hit 168. So I think it's safe to say that Echo Evans Ross has won the pole here for the Wawa Winners Showdown. We'll have to see where Troxell ends up falling in the place here. Oh boy. That was very slow down the backstretch for him. You know what? Troxell may be slowest again right here. I tell you, it has not been a good weekend at all here for Thomas Troxell at Indianapolis. We'll have to see what he can do in the Freedom 50 later on this week. But, we'll have to see what he does in the race, too. It's just qualifying. Maybe once he's done with the single car runs, he'll have something go his way. 49.659. And not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That's good enough for 6th, just above his teammate right there. But he'll be starting on the outside lane. Echo Evans Ross going to lead us to the green flag tomorrow for the Wawa Winners Showdown. Let's go ahead and give you guys the finishing results and the official starting lineup here from Indianapolis. And that will do it from Indianapolis for Monday in the Wawa Winners Showdown qualifying session. Echo Evans Ross with the fastest time, 49.144 for him. That is over 2.5 tenths faster than the rest of the field. Seth Cole with another quick time there, 49.397. And Blaine Keyes and Travis Crampton, who are the 2 lowest drivers who have won races this season in the full-time points. They're going to be in row number 2. Drew Webb and Thomas Troxell in row number 3. Chase Buck and Rogal Dorn in row number 4. Bradyn Perez and Samet Ozkan in row 5. And then Matt Tuck and Lliara round out the field. And it's 20 laps tomorrow, 50 miles, no pit stops. And the winner receives $25. As simple as that. We're going to have some fun with the Wawa Winners Showdown tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on AAG, the channel, part of Indy 250 week. Of course, the Indianapolis 250 this Saturday, May 27th at noon Eastern Time. Christian Vargas going to lead us to the green flag for that race, and we are so excited for it here in just 6 days, under 6 days. It's just around the corner. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Echo Evans Ross for winning the pole in the Wawa Winners Showdown. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the big race at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I say the big race. The big race is the Indy 250, but it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow for the pseudo all-star race. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.